You're still dialed in very much on the Bengals front. You
Mhm.
cover them regularly. Ian Rapoport, you may have heard in our monologue, is reporting the Bengals have officially tagged Tee Higgins. Combine starts today. You think the Bengals are sitting around in a suite somewhere taking calls to see what they might be able to get in a sign and trade?
So it always gets my attention when one team does one thing and every other team does something else. And the Bengals have tagged Tee Higgins, and no one else has really gone through that official transaction process yet. So clearly, there's something happening here. Now, I'm going to keep stressing this same point that I made kind of when they were negotiating or trying to negotiate contract extensions, which was it was always a negotiation. There was something that Tee Higgins would have accepted, there was something the Bengals would have accepted. They couldn't meet in the middle. Now, with the trade stuff, if, obviously this won't happen, if the Bears offered the Bengals the number one pick, all right, you're definitely taking that. If all you're getting is a third rounder or a fourth rounder, because the team knows that it would have to trade for T and then sign him to a market deal that would probably have to be very aggressive. It's all about where that pick or where that value lands in the middle. So I don't think it's necessarily a binary trade Higgins or don't trade Higgins. I think the responsible thing to do is to entertain offers and see how aggressive teams are willing to get. But at the end of the day, personally, my opinion and my approach is it would really have to be something that doesn't just blow you away, but really floors you to make it worth losing a potential Pro Bowl, All-Pro caliber type player in a year where Joe Burrow wants him back, where Zach Taylor wants him back, where the offense really needs him because of their high expectations.
Hey, I'm curious. We talked about the Bengals being well under the salary cap from a monetary standpoint during this past season and where they were going into the season. Then we learned over the weekend they've upped the salary cap even more, which we knew was coming in the NFL. Does that change the Bengals' strategy now that that number's been clearly defined?
Not a ton and not in huge ways, because like a rising tide lifts all boats. So like if you want the Bengals to go out and get Grover Stewart, a nose tackle, maybe he was going to get 8. Now he's going to get 10 because every team has more to work with. And so that's all relative. But one thing it does impact is the players already under contract with your team. So like, especially when you look at potential cap casualties, Joe Mixon now would put in his own boat. But maybe like a Nick Scott, you've got a couple extra million to work with. Nick Scott is a fantastic special teamer. They want more veterans in that defensive back room. Maybe it makes more sense to keep a Nick Scott. Maybe, I didn't expect BJ Hill would be a cap casualty anyway, but maybe there's extra reason to keep a guy like him on board. It makes the contracts you have on your roster more valuable.